And I'm joined now by Bill Kristol, founder and editor of the Weekly Standard and ABC News contributor. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing well. All right. Your impressions on what we have seen unfold today, the horror, and really the lack of any kind of response other than 25 to 30 seconds in Cuba as a kind of a nuisance by Barack Obama.
That was a little astounding. I figured he would speak at some length about what had happened at the beginning of that ridiculous speech in Cuba, but what did he talk about? A minute, I guess, and said nothing to speak of. The whole world must come together and other such meaningless cliches. So I feel terrible for the people of Brussels. I mean, Europeans have a horrible problem. We have a problem too. The world has a problem, but particularly those large communities there that do, unfortunately, some percentage of them are radicalized or harbor radicals, harbor terrorists. Don't hand them over. Don't expose. Don't tell the police about them, and therefore they have the ability to pull off these kinds of things. Plus, of course, new refugees who are not adequately vetted. That's not great either.
Yeah, and you had the French president saying we're at war with these people, and Obama doesn't even talk about who committed the act.
I mean, right, Obama's terrible on this stuff, but I got to say the Cuba thing, which I myself didn't, I was against what he's done in Cuba, and I think it's horrible the way he never mentions the fact that it's a brutal dictatorship and has, the political prisoners barely get a mention and so forth. But I guess I kind of was just inured to it and expected it to be a trip I wouldn't like. I wouldn't pay much attention to, which I haven't. But I got to say, I'm surprised at how offended I am about it. Just when I flip on, see it for a second on the screen, him sitting there being chummy with Raul Castro and stuff. It's one thing to decide it's a pragmatic matter. Maybe the embargo would outlive its usefulness. Maybe trade will be a good tool to open up the country. I don't. That's a reasonable debating question about public policy. But his total lack of apparent disgust at dictatorship, and then that comment of his, it really is shocking. I think I really don't think any American president has had that character of either party. And then his that comment he had. We finally put the last remnants of the Cold War is over now in America, something like that. What does that mean? I mean, it's still a dictatorship. Yeah. I mean, the Cold War ended in Europe when the Soviet Union fell apart, and East Europe and even Russia for a while actually became free, and Russia still is freer than it was then, of course. Communism fell. That's what the Cold War being over means.
Absolutely.
Not that our president pays a visit to a communist country. It barely challenges their suppression of political dissent.
Let me ask you about the politics of this attack. First of all, we have primaries tonight. We have Arizona, Utah. Do you think that this benefits Donald Trump in any way?
Yeah, I've seen some people say that, but I don't know. Honestly, I think that's hard to judge.
Okay, let me ask you this. Ted Cruz weighed in on Donald Trump's statement on NATO that we pay way too much money into it. Here's what Cruz had to say.
It is striking that the day after Donald Trump called for America weakening NATO, withdrawing from NATO, we see Brussels, where NATO is headquartered, the subject of a radical Islamic terrorist attack. Donald Trump is wrong that America should retreat from Europe, retreat from NATO, hand Putin a major victory, and while he's at it, hand ISIS a major victory.
All right, what's your take on what Trump said and how Cruz reacted to it?
Well, I'm pro-NATO. It's got its problems, but I think it's better than nothing. So I agree with Cruz's criticism of Trump in that respect, and I don't think we pay that much more or whatever. I think it's worth it as a general guarantor of reasonable peace in Europe. I wish NATO were stronger, not weaker. But I do think Cruz, this is often the case with Cruz, whom I like and who I certainly would support strongly over Trump, but he often reaches for that extra mile sort of and make the political point. And you can just condemn the terror and condemn radical Islam and condemn Obama for not having the right policies on it. You don't have to. It doesn't really have much connection, I think, with NATO. I mean, I think we'd be equally appalled by the terrorist attack if it occurred in the capital of some country that wasn't NATO. Wouldn't we?
It sounded like he was trying to blame Trump. No connection to Trump either, really. I guess. Let me ask you this: the RNC has said that you should stop it. Sean Spicer said any effort to facilitate a third party ultimately is helping elect Hillary. Said the Republican Party must be united to take back the White House. You, of course, have been spearheading, if you read the New York Times, if you listen to Rush Limbaugh, you're the man looking for that third party candidate.
If only I were as powerful as either the New York Times or Rush Limbaugh think, let alone the two of them together. It's an honor to be elevated by them, but I'm afraid I'm just sitting here making a few phone calls and sending a few emails. You know?
But what do you say to the RNC, who says, you should cut it out?
Well, I guess their job is to support the official Republican candidate, but I don't support Donald Trump, and I certainly hope we can deny him the Republican nomination, and I want to explore the possibility of an independent Republican if Trump is the Republican nominee. So they're doing their job, but I don't really work for the RNC, and nor do most Republicans.
All right, but do you agree that a third-party candidate there, such as the kind you're seeking, would basically pave the way for Hillary?
Not necessarily. I think a Trump nomination makes Hillary's victory much more likely. That's certainly what all the polling suggests, than a Cruz nomination or than a Kasich or Rubio or anyone else who's run nomination. So I think it's unfortunate that Trump seems to be the favorite for the nomination. I really think that's the single thing that's going to most help elect Hillary if Trump is the nominee. And I actually think an independent Republican could help Republicans down ballot, and in the event of a Trump collapse, could end up helping elect a Republican conceivably who's not Trump. Now, look, if the race, if Trump turns out to be much better than I think, and he runs a responsible campaign, and he's like Reagan and all that, then whatever independent Republican might be on the ballot will fade at the end, and it won't matter much. So I don't really buy that argument.
All right. Bill, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.